every day, usually in the morning between 5 and 11 a.m. We do our Central Indiana scoreboard show, and it's so much fun to do. It's like a daily audio sports section. Of course, my expertise was putting together a sports section every day for 25 years, so putting that to good use with the Central Indiana scoreboard show, where we focus on the Pacers, Colts, IndyCar, IU, Purdue, the Fever, Ball State, Butler, major national sports news, and of course, the best high school sports coverage in Central Indiana. Please join us every day. What you are listening to now is the Central Indiana Sports Report podcast number 295.2, our NBA Finals Game 4 reaction with our Pacers guy Mike Rich, our NBA guy John Robertson, our national sports guy Will Retherford, and my former boss Mike Hutsell, and Tipton Tribune and Elwood call leader, sports editor Michelle Garmon. And I gotta say, for a Game 4 NBA Finals loss, it was a lot of fun in there tonight. Warning, a lot of bad language. If you have children with you, just explain to them that sometimes adults say adult words. And if they're too young, maybe listen when you don't have them in the car with you.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengelt.
Welcome, Pacers fans, to the Central Indiana Sports Report and our Game 4 reaction, Game 4 NBA Finals reaction. Pacers go down. Who's got the score? I didn't.
111-104.
111-104 loss to the Oklahoma City Thunder. The series is now 2-2 heading back to Oklahoma City. And guys, I saw way too much pessimism in the chat tonight. This team hasn't lost 2 games in a row in forever. They always come back from bad losses. When they look lost, the next game they always look found. I'm not doubting this team at all, John.
I don't want to say that I'm not doubting. I'm less certain than I was. I'm not going to
sure.
I'm not going to jump
Of
on
course.
I'm not going to jump on the it's over train that I mean, that's definitely the mood of the people in my house this evening, is that the series is over. That's the mood of a lot of people on my socials, is it's over. And I'm like, I've said, whoever wins, I said on our last show, whoever wins Game 4 probably wins the series. But like, I also made if we go back to after Game 2, we said neither team has really lost back-to-back games. So if it plays out with neither team loses back-to-back games, the Pacers win in 7. So I'm still optimistic.
I just think they need to get to 7.
I'm optimistic.
Our Pacers guy, Mike Rich, joins us. I saw some bad words that he used, some adult words that he used on our stream, but tough loss, Mike. But I don't think it's.
I'll do my best to avoid tough language.
I don't think we're going to go without any F-bombs on this one,
no.
Mike. But
my wife and my kids had to listen to it, so shit.
I was saying before you got here that I think the tone was way too pessimistic for what this team has proven to us.
I've said it in the chat, and I mean it. This series is over. Like they have lost the series. Tonight was must win. I don't feel confident about the way that they lost, them going into OKC. This was just the way they lost, not that they lost. I echoed, this is the most important game in franchise history, and they just completely pissed it away. So I know I'm going to get flack and heat for.
I can see why you would say that.
Saying that it's over, but I
understand the sentiment.
I've not lost faith in the team, but this is just, they're in a bad situation now. They're in a really bad situation now.
I understand the sentiment, Will. I truly do. Mostly because Oklahoma City's so good. And they proved that here in the fourth quarter. But this Pacers team has just proven it too many times that when you count them out, that's when they're at their best. Mike Hutsell, how are you feeling about it?
Well, first, I want to start off by congratulating Doris Burke and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on their upcoming nuptials. Her love letter for 4 quarters to that guy was just absolutely disgusting, and it's been that way for 4 games now. I cannot stand it. I can't stand her. She has become a character that ESPN creates. She used to be good. She was
did.
really, really good.
She did.
And now she's just part of this NBA or ESPN machine. She's a joke, just like everything else. But
Everything
I side
touches.
with Will, as I typically do. I side with Will. I think this series is over. It sounds really, really weird to say this, but to me, they lost this game in the last 2 minutes of the third quarter. They're up 10. Obi goes to the line, bricks 2 free throws. They come back. Pascal misses a free throw. They do some really, really bad clock management. OKC gets a 2-for-1. They end up scoring 4 points in the last 30 seconds of the quarter. To go, what could have been a 12-point lead ended up only being 7. They come out in the fourth quarter and just absolutely piss down their leg. Just gross. I mean, the biggest game in this franchise's history, and they just absolutely pissed it away. I hate being negative Nancy, but they scored 1 point, I think, in the last 3 minutes of the game.
I think they got one shot off, Mike.
One.
Yeah, it was all the voodoo that they've been doing caught up to them in 1 quarter. Actually, 2.5 minutes. Michelle,
an 88% foul shooter can't hit a free throw in the last minute of a game.
Matherin missing 3 free throws in the last couple minutes was awful. But now the most important game in the Pacers' history is Game 5.
That's right.
And I guarantee they come back and I say they win it. I'll bet you $100 on it. Anybody that wants to bet it,
I think Will does.
You want to bet?
I don't have $100, but I would if I had $100, I would bet you that they don't win Game 5.
I
really like their chances.
I want to be wrong.
I do too.
You're
gonna be wrong.
I want to say, I want to be wrong. I've been as high on this team all year as anybody probably in this entire country.
Then don't give up on them. If don't give up on them.
Tonight was unacceptable loss, and it was poor coaching.
Oh, no.
It was poor game management. It was poor everything. That fourth quarter was just atrocious.
And that, of course, was Michelle Garmon, who just snuck up on us and joined the chat. Michelle, we were kind of 3-2 here for positive and negative, and it sounds like maybe you make it 3-3, which makes it interesting. And by the way, as I said to Will, I completely understand why someone would look at this and go, this is over. Oklahoma City did what they needed to. They're going to win at least 2 they're going to win 2 of these 3 games. If they don't win the next, I completely get it. But that's what I've thought with Cleveland. That's what I thought. Well, Cleveland was the only other one I really thought that. And this team just comes out and puts it to the team the next game, and I could see that happening. Again, I had a 48% chance the Pacers would win the series going into this game, and now I think it's something like 37, 35. But still, I don't think there's a reason to be pessimistic.
No.
I
just can see this team doing it. They've done it over and over and over.
Hey, I'm not going to look at it as from a fan, and I don't think Will is either. As fans, we're going to root for them to win. But we're looking at it as what they did and how they lost it. Game 2, I hated the lack of effort, but they lost. I mean, Oklahoma City came out and they beat them. Tonight, they had OKC on the ropes and let them back in and let it do it. And I'm telling you what, that's a rejuvenated OKC team that is leaving Gamebridge tonight. Yes, it is, Mike. It is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. And I bet you they come out on fire. The Pacers better hope that the Thunder don't get up in double digits in Game 5, because if they do, I don't see them coming back from it. The Pacers you have to remember,
the Pacers are going to win Game 6, Michelle. Then the Pacers are going to win Game 6, and then it's a toss-up for Game 7. Either way, the Pacers are. I'm just saying the Pacers are winning this, are going to get to, are going to make a positive step toward a championship in one of these next 2 games.
But it'll be too late. If they lose Game 5, it's too late. And I don't see Oklahoma City losing at home.
It's ridiculous.
I don't see Oklahoma City losing at home again.
They've already lost at home.
We forget. What does Oklahoma City have? They have the best player in the NBA on there. That's the Mavs didn't
No,
have,
they don't.
The Mavs, the Bucks.
Michelle
yes, they do.
Burke, Michelle Doris Burke in the house.
No. SGA has played well. You think about it. What he's done.
Are you wearing a headband?
He's also not
No,
the best player in the NBA.
What he's done, I mean, he's done it. I mean, the Pacers forwards have been pretty darn good, but their ability, I mean, SGA is just because he knows how to get to the line. Whether we like the way the officials are calling it or not, that's how they've called him all year long. You've got to adjust. The point is,
continue to doubt this team at your risk.
He makes clutch shots too.
Yeah,
and
continue to doubt this team at your risk, because they've proven it time and time again that how they played in the fourth quarter of the game before does not matter. They're going to adjust in the days in between, and they're going to have a good performance.
Does a little bit better job of coaching and understanding when a game is that important that you don't sit around and dick around.
But the coaching's in between the games.
Player instead of coming back with your starter.
The coaching's in between the games.
That's right.
You're not going to coach in the. I mean,
yes, you do.
There's only so much coaching.
You can change your substitution pattern during a game.
Very little. Very little.
Hey, I've seen them do it.
The coaching is in between. You got 3 days to prepare.
You don't think Phil Jackson didn't do that coaching all those championships?
First of all,
Carlisle has done great between games, but I just thought his game management tonight was not very good.
My biggest
They're
issue
2-2 in the NBA Finals. I'm going to forgive him, John.
He played. They played 3 great
I'm going to say
quarters.
my only real beef with Rick, because I think he did fine, other than he never challenges. He takes his challenges home with him. There's a couple that he should have challenged. That's my biggest beef with Rick. I'm not going to sit here and say like Rick blew the game. I don't think he did. No. But I think that my biggest gripe with Rick is he needs to use his challenge at some point. At some point, you might as well use it on one of the close calls at the end of the game. There were a couple of clear ones that he definitely would have won, and then he when there's 3 minutes left and there's a 50-50 maybe, what's the point of hanging on to it? That's my biggest beef with Rick. But anything else, I think he knows what he's doing better than we do, so I'm not going to question him.
Definitely not definitely not a Carlisle A+ game.
My biggest beef is that I spent $1,200 on Game 6 for one ticket.
Wow.
Well, you'll get to go. I mean, that's good.
At least you know there will be a Game 6.
That's right.
No, there's going to be a Game 6, but that may still be the final game. They're going to win Game 5.
Here's my thing that I like. Are we too open discussion at this point?
Absolutely.
I really think that just if you think about this as a reset of a 3-game series, the finals are now a 3-game series, right? And yeah, Oklahoma City has home court, and yeah, everybody knows that maybe on paper they're the better team. But if you told me that I had to go to battle in a 3-game series with a team that had to win at least one on the road to do it, this Pacers team is the team I would take to do it. Oklahoma City might still be the favorite. I'm not going to sit here and say they're not the favorite by any short amount, but I would take this team to believe in themselves and go on the road, steal at least one, and I believe in it. So yes, I am a little sad. I'm a little disappointed that we didn't get both. But if like I said, if 3-game series, I'm taking the Pacers' belief in themselves as long as they get a fair shake at it.
Well, this is the time you got to believe, man.
I love. Here's my issue. My issue is that they lost this game, and Oklahoma City was 3 from 17 from 3 tonight. They're not going to shoot that bad again. That was just an uncharacteristically awful shooting performance. And they still lost by 7. That's just not a good. But this is a team this is a close to 40% 3-point shooting team, and you got a game where they shot 17%, and then you didn't take advantage of it. And then
let's also look at the fact that the Pacers were still in it after the way the first half was called. And I am not one to rip on officials. You guys know that I'm not one to rip on officials. But this, if you really look at it, this was historically bad officiating. I'm not saying that definitely changed the outcome, but that first half was pretty ticky-tack on one side and pretty much let them play on the other.
I think that's true. I don't. That's not that's as polite as you can say that it was bad. There's just I don't understand in the last 3 minutes why Neesmith switched on to SGA. Nembhard had his number the whole game, and then all of a sudden, the last 3 minutes, we make that switch where Neesmith is now defending him in the half court, and I don't understand that I guess, adjustment. I don't know if it happened organically or if it happened due to a call, but like Neesmith has not been good on Neesmith. And then that push off there when SGA hit the, I don't know, 16-footer on the baseline. I mean, it was just a clear offensive foul. And like, why leave with a challenge? Why leave with that being up in the air? At least challenge the
Absolutely.
play.
And that's been my biggest beef.
The worst is that there's a no call, but you cannot walk away with a challenge in your pocket and just assume that was a huge momentum. They took bad shots down the stretch. They didn't look for the open guy, and I think if anything, I'm just so disappointed. I don't know if it was too much one-on-one. They just didn't hit shots. They just, quite frankly, they didn't hit shots there at the end of the game. I don't think that they took bad shots. They just didn't hit any shots.
Well, I don't mean the biggest one-on-one, typical one-on-one. I meant we did too much dribbling one-on-one. We dribbled away too many seconds instead of moving the ball. We've been our best when we've been moving the ball.
Well, and that's kind of where I think we started to lose the momentum, is at the end of the third when they were just standing there doing half-court offense instead of pressuring. That's where we started to lose it and let OKC back into the game. And I think Hutsell said that. He said, we started to lose the game in the last 2 minutes of the third quarter. And I agree, because I'm sitting there screaming, like, why are we not playing Pacer basketball? We stopped trying to play Pacer basketball and started to play this. And we saw this in a couple of other games. We saw it in game 2 and we lost. They tried to play half-court, wait deep into the shot clock. And then they couldn't get a good shot because of OKC's defense, when you let them set up, is good. So they need to keep up the ball movement. They need to keep up the fast pace, and they need to keep attacking.
Can I say one thing that really, really bothers me about this game? I mean, look, if you're going to lose to the NBA MVP, that's fine. Do it. I mean, 33 points. I don't know how many he had in the fourth quarter. But you cannot let a guy who's probably not even allowed within 50 feet of an elementary school put 22 points on you, and that's what Alex Caruso did tonight. Caillou-looking motherfucker is out here just putting 30 on you. That's embarrassing.
What's even more embarrassing is that he's allowed to just molest other guys defensively and gets like 8 points on just weak transition layups with no defense because he literally is just draped on Halliburton. I know that that's easy, low-hanging fruit to talk about, but it felt like any time that the Pacers kind of like got on that roll, it was just like, hey, we're going to give 3 whistles to the Thunder and we're just going to get this right back to being close. It felt every single time the Pacers get up 9 or 10, here comes 3 just absolute horseshit calls, so weak, stuff that's not even called in the regular season.
Definitely wasn't an A+ officiating night either.
Can Lou Dort even make it back to OKC in time for Game 5? Because I think he has a court date in Indianapolis on Monday morning for the assault he was committing in the first half of that game.
That brings up the point that there's 3 days between games now, right? Or at least a 2-day break between the games. So that's going to favor OKC a little bit. They're going to rest up and I don't know. I think the short back-to-back was good for the Pacers, and I think they played like it was good for the Pacers for a while, but then they just let them back in.
I just don't really know, as I'm like trying to sit here and just kind of like think about the game. I mean, I texted at the end of the third quarter, and I just said that was just an unacceptable ending, like had them on the ropes, and they just kind of let him back in. My biggest like pet peeve was just like they just switched things up there in those last like 5 minutes. It just didn't make sense. And I think what's shameful is that Nembhard had SGA's number all night and then got absolutely nothing to show for it. He defended him so well, made him work for every single inch of space he got. And that's going to go. And Siakam played great. Like the sad part is there were really good performances tonight that just kind of went out the wayside for, I mean, is there anybody that we can look at and say, like just completely shit the bed tonight and they were just awful, unplayable?
I mean, I'm not going to pick on Benedict Mathurin. I wish he would have made his free throws, but that's not game-changing, right? So there's nothing game-changing about that. Shepard's minutes were impressive, but he's not supposed to have impressive minutes, right?
There should be 0 Shepard minutes.
Well, I'm just saying,
like, he's playing in the fourth quarter.
Not played at all in the finals. In the NBA,
but I'm saying, like, he's not supposed to be. He's not supposed to be a difference maker. He's just supposed to hold for a little bit or minimize. That's his job. That's his role. So I'm not going to say he totally was worthless. I don't think anybody played horrible. How about Obi Toppin though? Obi Toppin
Obi Toppin.
He was having a night.
He is something. He might be an actual guy.
But he bricked 2 free throws that would have made it a 12-point game.
I understand.
Yeah, but I have to forgive those free throws.
15. Minus 15.
He's minus 15?
Minus 15.
That actually is shocking to me because he played I thought he played pretty well.
On both ends.
I hadn't looked at the box score. Yeah, I hadn't looked at the box score, but that actually is quite surprising.
Shepard was minus 10, and he played 12 minutes.
I thought Matherin was pretty bad. He did some good things at times, but pretty bad.
Neesmith was bad.
He is not one to miss.
He does not miss free throws. Here's the thing with Matherin. He played so well, and they played him in bulk minutes, and he was weird tonight. First, he put Shepard over Matherin. Instead, that's where I'm getting at with Carlisle in game management or bench management. I didn't understand some of where he did, especially because Matherin, it's almost like, oh, you have this great game, but I'm going to reward Shepard for whatever reason and put him in before I put you. And the longer he sits, the less likely he is to get into a good offensive rhythm. Get in and get warm, and if he can hit a couple, he gets in a good rhythm, and that's good for the Pacers.
Well, he's 3 years into his career now and doesn't seem to understand you don't foul a guy before the ball's inbounded. I mean, an accident twice is like, Jesus, come on.
I want to preface this by saying every time I criticize Rick Carlisle, he turns out to be right. But tonight, Matherin played 12 minutes, and Shepard played 14. That should be Matherin playing 26. What are we doing with Ben Shepard here?
The fact that he sees the floor is appalling because he literally brings nothing. He helped in the Knicks series with Garden Brunson. He cannot guard Alexander. He just cannot do it.
No, he cannot. And he really
can't guard Williams, for that matter.
I want to give a shout out to Aaron Neesmith for having a team-high 9 rebounds. And then we have Pascal Siakam with 8 rebounds. And we have Obi Toppin with 7. And then we have no one else with more than 2. That's a problem. We got out-rebounded tonight. OKC should not out-rebound this team.
Guys, I think we know what really was the difference maker in this game is Jarris Walker is injured. If we had Jarris Walker, I think
how is the name Scott Foster not come up yet in this discussion?
It's just implied.
Well,
he sat in that locker room at the end of the game, looked at his buddies and said, guys, we effing did it.
We did it. It's statistically, it's unbelievable. Every time he officiates a game, the series evens out.
If he was on fire, I wouldn't piss on him. He's just that dog shit awful. He is that fucking bad.
This is why I think officials should have to have some accountability to the press afterwards. They make players, they make coaches, sometimes officials to explain some of your calls, and especially that flagrant that they gave Obi in the first half. I would love to hear him, not through a statement, he should have to get up in a press room in front of microphones and justify it.
Well, they kind of bit themselves on that one because then the next foul they absolutely had to give a flagrant to, was it Dort? I think so. They absolutely even if they didn't want to, they had to after what they did to Obi.
And it wasn't a flagrant.
Dort's was. He hit him in the head.
No. That was a good hard foul.
I think we can just agree that professional leagues have to have one garbage official that we know, because MLB had Angel Hernandez for years, and he was like the worst thing ever.
Angel Hernandez was so repugnantly bad that it was unbelievable that they let him get away with it for that long. Scott Foster's not that bad.
Well, and I don't understand how Scott Foster has a job when he was included in the lawsuit with the gambling on.
Clearly involved.
So that just to me you want to complain about ratings and you want to complain about why people aren't watching your sport. Like, you're not doing yourself any favors when you leave and I'm not even like a tinfoil hat conspiracy guy, but like, you leave yourself open to it when you allow people like that to stay in your league.
If this thing goes 7, I expect Scott Foster, Bennett Salvatore, and Tim Donaghy on work release for Game 7. They might just give Doris Burke a whistle for Game 7 and say, Doris, go do your best.
Hey, but did you guys see that where the records of the Pacers and the Thunder against the Pacers have losing records when all of these three officials, and they don't all do it together. And then the Thunder have winning records when all three been officiated with all three of these. The NBA needs to look at some of that, and you can't have that kind of disparity.
Michelle, what makes you think that they don't? What makes you think that they don't look at that and be like, oh, okay, we can get Game 6 if we put this combo together?
But the other thing is the coaches know who the referees are going to be, and they need to be prepared to coach against the referees and the players don't need to sit there and argue freaking calls. They need to get on defense. Get on defense. If you get a bad call, get on defense. The Pacers did.
There's nothing you can do about them assigning those officials. There's no reason to whine about it.
Yeah.
Make your shots. Get on defense. Period.
Yep, I agree. Tonight's one of those where I wouldn't have minded, like late in that second quarter, Carlisle taking a tech, eating a tech, and just setting the tone and just standing up for the guys, and just almost like a baseball manager getting tossed for a clear strike 3, but his guys have kind of got hoed for a couple innings. Like, I don't know. I know that that's not Carlisle's MO, and that's out of character for him, and I appreciate how cool, calm, and collected he is. Tonight was just one of those where it just felt like, hey, make a statement. Cross the line one time and say something you shouldn't. Get a tech and just kind of show the guys that you have their backs, and maybe a few of the, extracurriculars don't occur later in the game if that happens.
Yeah, especially because I've seen Carlisle, not this year, but I have seen him in a couple years, or in previous years he's coached, get a tech that I'm not sure why he got a tech there. And tonight, I was sitting there mentally saying, get a tech. Get a tech, especially in that first half when after Halliburton got thrown to the ground by Dort and some of that stuff. I'm like, Rick, your players can't. We can't afford to get any of them ejected. And you don't have to get 2. Just get 1. Just let them know that you see what's going on and you're not going to put up with that.
I'm all for whoever said in the first half, put James Johnson in. Let's Rick Mahorn somebody's ass.
That was me too. I said, deck him. I said, who can we have get in there and deck him to where he can't even get up can't get up.
I mean, let's go bad boy Pistons. If they're going to call every foul, let's make them worth it. Thomas Bryant, James Johnson. Hell, I don't know if Tony Bradley's still alive. He might be somewhere in the canal. I don't know. Let's put him out there.
Ben Shepherd come in.
Yeah, Ben Shepherd. It would if he got
let him get 5.
If he got ejected, that would be the best thing maybe to happen to the Pacers because Rick couldn't play it.
Johnny Furphy could come in and go all koala on the guys.
I don't even know how to respond to that. I know that that's going to get edited out and that's going to get cut from this. But
it's not getting cut at all. Nobody saw it except for you.
Will thinks you should just shoot him.
No, but you know what I would do, this is going to be the thing that gets this podcast off the rails, and I'm completely fine doing it this evening because I just kind of want to make everyone laugh. I would, and Mike will get this. I will Braun Breaker spear Alex Caruso's knee so far his knees touch. I would eliminate ACL, MCL, LCL, meniscus, knee. I would end his career. I would send James Johnson out there and just fucking beat the living dog shit out of him. Get him arrested. Pay for his attorney fees. Get him arrested, a felony assault, and just take him out because I am so tired of just watching the horse shit.
Well, it's not just Caruso. Dort,
Will
I
has
like
opinions.
Caruso. I think he's fun, but Dort is
the whole team. Don't stop at Dort. SGA, all of them. I'm talking.
But I will say,
Will.
I do not. When I said don't let him
Everybody
get
was
up, that doesn't mean I want to talk like a rear ender. I'm not I like being I mean, if it calls for it, I don't have a problem with a Rick Mahorn or a Bill Laimbeer type foul out there. But I don't want to essentially end a player's career.
Hey, Will.
He could.
Michelle, you know who I want to see? You know who I want to see James Johnson take out?
Doris Burke.
Yeah.
You know what? That's your guys' problem. You guys are listening. I only listen to Doris Burke or the announcers because after the flagrant, when they go to review, I just kind of want to hear what the TV's saying because I'm listening to Mark Boyle, and it's wonderful. I don't pay attention.
Me too.
To those guys on the TV. I listen to Pacers
Yeah,
Network.
me too.
I don't care that they're ahead. It's kind of nice, but I just 10 times would rather. I can't stand watching ABC and ESPN's NBA crews. And most of the crews, they
so bad.
Get rid of all of the knowledgeable good ones, and then they leave us with garbage. I mean,
I think that's a perfect segue into somebody I would never in my life talk about except for tonight. Let's discuss how Stephen A., who has all these wonderful opinions about basketball, who knows so much and hates when people question him, was playing solitaire during the game. Let's talk about that for just one moment. There's photos of him sitting on his phone playing solitaire while the game is going on. How can you respect the guy after that?
I've never respected him. I call him a blathering
idiot. Not
you.
You. How can anyone respect anything the guy has to say after that?
Because he's the loudest guy in the room, and that's what ESPN thrives on, and they're going to continue to promote him, and they're going to pay him an exuberant amount of money. So we just have to accept our version of him is Pat McAfee and just listen to him.
Yes. I do love Pat McAfee.
Ignore everything he says. That's my advice. Because it doesn't matter. It's stupid what he says.
Yeah, I don't listen to him at all. I just think it's a really bad look. And how do you let yourself be seen doing that as a professional at a game at the NBA final? I'm just to me that was that's a bad look. But
he's prepping for that presidential run he's discussing. So.
Well, that's fair. To go back to your Pat McAfee thing, though, one highlight I can bring up is at Game 3 when Pat McAfee came on and did his little WWE style, get the crowd hyped, and he got the crowd hyped. I mean, it really got. I gotta give a shout out to whoever in the Pacers timing was, or Pacers production was this is the moment we need it, Pat, because a call had just gone against the Pacers, and the crowd was subdued and quiet, and then Pat McAfee comes in at the right moment and does his let's be the loudest fans in the NBA and goes nuts, and I'm telling you that place was rocking. So I absolutely. I'm indifferent. I was indifferent on Pat McAfee. He's fine, but I was never really a fan. I'm a fan now.
I'm not a listener, but I'm a fan. How about that?
Yeah.
His style is not my style. I'm way more of a Rich Eisen, Colin Cowherd kind of, Bill Simmons kind of guy than that.
Colin Cowherd, Jesus.
That's because we're old, Greg. We're old. I think.
Hey, I'm as old as anybody, but maybe Greg in this room, and I cannot.
I'm not even the second oldest in the room.
You're so old.
I'm not even the second oldest in the room.
No, you're third or fourth.
Greg, can I just say I'm getting dangerously close to bringing up that subject that I made you say I wasn't allowed to talk about before Game 1. That's how pissed off I am about this series.
Let's save it for Mike Rich's Pacers report later this week. Or tomorrow or the next day.
I'll save it for if they do lose in 6.
There you go.
Hey, John, did they lose? They lost the spread tonight too, didn't they?
Yeah, it was Pacers plus 6.
6.5. Hey, the elephant in the room we haven't talked about. We probably need to pull some money together and get John and his daughter down to OKC for Game 5 because they won Game 3 with those two in the building. They didn't go tonight. I mean, I'm in for a nickel. So
I saw from the guy that works for Terry Rowe that is the Thunder fan. Tickets are an average of $1,200 for Game 5 in Oklahoma City, or they were tonight. So before the game.
And now they've won, so it's
going to go up. I'm going to pull it up and look at the get-in price. I mean, I can get in for $540 a piece. 8-hour drive to OKC.
Well,
maybe.
if you guys want to pool money for me, I'll Tanya Harding, SGA, and Chet Holmgren, and we can
let's do that. I was thinking of that earlier.
Will
Rutherford loves violence.
Yeah. Will Rutherford loves violence, and I absolutely do. I love violence and doing questionable things for the Pacers' benefit, and if I have to be the mortar for this fan base and organization, I'll do it. I hope no one hears that, and I don't do it, because that's going to really probably land me in some big trouble.
It probably is, but if you didn't do it, you didn't do it.
You just made it premeditated. You made it even worse.
You did.
Make sure you have an alibi.
Yeah,
have an alibi.
No plausible denial. Yeah. We have no plausible deniability now.
And I hope it doesn't come to that, but it just might have to. But on a serious note, you guys have calmed me down a little bit and made me feel a little better. I'm not as confident that this series is over, but I can't say I'm optimistic either. So I hope that.
Yeah.
I hope I hear something happens in the next few days to where I can feel strongly about the Pacers' chances, but I just don't like stylistically where this is going, and I don't like that they have got to play two in Oklahoma City.
I can't live in a world where Alex Caruso has 2 NBA rings. Please don't let this happen. The dude lives in a minivan and can't see his children, but
I will root like heck for the Pacers. I just don't have a good feeling going forward. I had a pretty good feeling. I don't now. I will root like heck for them.
It's going to change, Michelle. It's going to change in Game 5. You're going to root for them in Game 5 after they win. And then you're going to be like, oh, yeah, the greatest team in the world.
No, I'm not necessarily. I still, even if they win Game 5, I don't know that I'll still feel. I don't know. I don't know.
Even if they lose Game 5, I think they can win this in 7.
They're going to win this in Game 6.
Love it, Mike. And by the way,
they're going to beat Oklahoma 2 games in a row. Huh? I'll bet you $100. I bet you $100 they win Game 5. Anyone on here, John?
For me. I know
I'm not going to bet
$1.25, Mike. I'll bet you $1.
I'll bet you $5.
That's right.
I'll bet you.
Like $5. I have enough money in my gambling account to make that bet. It's just not a good bet that I want to. I don't want to bet against the Pacers at even money. Like I just wouldn't do it. I love your.
I want y'all to bet against them, and then they win.
That's right.
I honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought about putting 100 on OKC money line tonight, just because if the Pacers lost, I wouldn't be so upset, and I didn't do it. I wish I had, man. But I didn't do it.
I haven't pulled that move since the UConn-Purdue national title game. I put a big chunk on the Purdue money line just in case.
You bastard. You bastard.
Speaking of Purdue, what song does Matt Painter play for 4 quarters to lament the fact that he didn't get Alex Caruso on campus? Do you think it's like, I don't know, Journey? Like, I don't know. Like, The Search is Over by...
Yeah, it's probably... the national title's coming next year. Anyway, this has been a lot of fun, guys, for a Game 4 loss in the NBA playoffs.
I got a final thought.
As long as you guys want.
Oh, you're good. Before we go, I got a final thought because I did a little research. Now I got something that I'm going to try and make Will believe. You ready, Will? This is my.
I'm all. I told you this. I'm all ears.
I'm a coach. Like when you said that, I did a little research on something because I want to give it to you. I'm gonna, like, this is my. If I were a coaching moment. All right.
Okay.
You ready? If you look at the history of these playoffs, and if it was like the old NBA playoffs, it was best of 3 series, or maybe it was best of 5 or whatever. But if it was a best of 3, this is now a best of 3 series. So if we look at this entire playoffs, if it was best of 3, the Pacers Bucks 2-1 Pacers. Okay, if you look at the Cavs series, we weren't supposed to win that one against the best team in the East. 3-game series, Pacers win 2-1.
Uh-huh.
We get to the Eastern Conference Finals, and the big bad Knicks from New York. We're not supposed to beat them. 3-game series, 2-1.
2-0.
This series, was it 2-0? Well, anyway, the first 3 games was 2-1. So I just said, anyway.
Okay, right.
So this series is now a 3-game series. It is a best of 3. The first 4 games don't even matter at this point. It is just best of 3. Absolutely. So if I need a team to go in and get me 2 wins out of 3, I'm taking the Indiana Pacers. winning one away and winning one at home. Call it a finals. Give us the championship.
Okay. I will I guess counter that with saying that my prediction all along is
don't counter it. Just let us end on
that. Pacers in 6 is what I've said, and you know what? Fuck it. I'll go back on what I said. I'll be a coward tonight. Pacers in 6. They're getting it done.
Yeah.
Game 5.
So now we're over half of the room is positive.
Your dream is still alive. Pacers in 6. I'm just saying, like, legitimately, like, if you asked me at the beginning of the series who I thought was going to win, like, I had hope for the Pacers, but I really believed that the Thunder were probably going to pull out the win, right? And I'm just saying, it's a 3-game series. We've won every first 3 games of every series. It is now just a 3-game series. Pacers are going to win it.
Pacers in 6, guys. Thanks. Talk to you tomorrow.
I hope so.
Thanks so much to Mike Rich for joining us after a tough couple weeks out in the field at Camp Atterbury, and to John Robertson, Will Rutherford, Michelle Garmon, and Mike Hutsell for joining us. Man, that was a lot of fun for a Game 4 loss in the NBA Finals. In case you ever wondered what the live means on one of our podcasts, that just means I didn't have time to edit it, usually. It means whatever we said, we said. Most of the time I edit because I am anal like that. But on the live ones, I just let it ride. The Central Indiana Sports Report is going to be around for a long time, and you can help us continue to grow and thrive and provide you with the best sports coverage in Central Indiana. All we ask of you is that you share this with your friends and family. That's it. Hit the share button. Oh, if you want to share it with your enemies and strangers as well, please do. Everybody deserves to hear about a good podcast, right? Even your enemies, even strangers. You can, you see someone on the street with a Pacer shirt. Hey, over there. You're going to want to listen to the Central Indiana Sports Report. It's pretty awesome. Anyway, the Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media. I'm an idiot. And I love Susie. Go Pacers.